Hi, everybody, online and in person. Thank you for joining us today. We'll call the meeting to order. I have one request before we get started. If you are an owner and at some point you have a question, please introduce yourself and say your unit number, because I just try to get to know people who maybe I haven't met. I'll hand it to you, Greg.
Thank you, Stacy. I just want to let everyone know the meeting has been properly noticed and that we do have a quorum. And also we have two sets of minutes, one from the May meeting and then the special meeting July 25th, if everyone's had a chance to review those minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
If somebody would then make a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes of May 31st and July 25th.
I second
Second.
All in favor?
that. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you,
Great.
Greg.
Thanks, Stacy.
Okay, it's been a busy morning. We had a great meeting with our new owners. So happy to meet them and see most of them still attending the board meeting. And tomorrow we have our annual owners meeting where we'll be going into a lot of detail and exchanging a lot of information about the property. So I hope everybody will be there for that. I hope all of our golfers Saturday have raincoats and umbrellas. It's gonna be a flood. So we have, as always, we've had a lot of busy work going on with the property and in our business office, working on onboarding our new software. So a lot of interesting things to go into today. We'll get started with Joe Carey and our financial report.
That question. Gary, you want to put up the?
Yep. Hang on 1 second.
You minimize the box on the left.
On the left.
All right, I'm dyslexic. There we go. Okay, couple of, just a short preamble. So what you're looking at is the top half of our balance sheet. So a couple things. We're reporting for July 31st year to date. We would normally at this meeting report on August, but because of the way the calendar laid out and when these meetings were, is only a couple days after the first of the month, and we had a holiday, so we weren't able to finalize the August reports yet. So we're reporting through July, so 7 months into the year. The other thing I want to mention is that this report may look a little different. There may be some different line items that you may not be used to seeing if you pay close attention, because this report is the first one that's being generated off of our new HOA software, Buildium. And previous to the last month or two, we had been, all of our accounting system was in QuickBooks. And so the reporting looks a little bit different. So looking at current assets, we're in good shape, cash wise, asset wise. We have our account 106, which is where the special, it has a smattering of money in it. This is just a little bit of what was left over from the roof projects. That'll get repopulated with the money from the more current roof project, the roof penetrations project, when that money begins to come in, which it already has. But again, this is through July, not through August. So that's why that number looks very small. Account 109 is our reserves. This is the total of our reserves to date. Interestingly enough, when things kind of went crazy with insurance a couple of years ago, and a lot of the expense items, unexpected expense items we've had over the last couple of years, I predicted then that our reserve would come down to the neighborhood between $225,000 and $250,000, and there they are. So,
But that's gonna go back up.
well, our plan will be to begin to rebuild that reserves. How much and how fast will depend on the rest of our budget when we do that next month. See how much we can allocate towards reserves. It takes a long time. When I first became president in 2006, 2006, we had no reserves. I made it a priority to start building reserves, and it took us until 2017, 2018 to get the reserves up to the maximum level that they were at, which was between $600,000 and $800,000. So you can see they've come down some.
Did we take some money out of reserves for the Durango electric work at High Point that we are going to be bringing back in through the assessments throughout the year?
No, we shouldn't have, because we budgeted for that.
But we paid it early on in the year,
Oh,
and we're
yeah.
gonna be collecting through December on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like
we
a
did.
we just borrowed from reserves to
We
pay
borrowed.
it in advance, yeah.
We have made a habit of borrowing from reserves to do a lot of things, like on the
Yeah.
roof. The overall roof project that was just completed last spring. April. Yeah, April. We moved a lot of the assessments from that into reserves so that we could earn a higher return. And then now all of that's been put back, and that's why the reserves are at where they are.
So with the fire system, the upgrade that was done in High Point, and it's gonna be done in all the complexes over the next 4 years. Was roughly 200,000 that went into our annual budget, but the work was done this spring. And so we had to dip into reserves for that, but we'll be bringing that back in with each quarterly assessment. Had that work been done in December, we would have had the money collected through assessments for that to be done. So that's just a timing difference. And so we should have some money going back to reserves a little bit from that, I would think,
Yeah, I don't know, that's right.
depending on how the year goes.
Yeah, yeah. And we're gonna be, I mean, you'll see when we get to the income statement, we're gonna probably be under budget on that project as well, so. That might help a little bit. We may end up, I shouldn't commit to that, but we could end up with some surpluses in some areas and maybe put some money into reserves at year end, but we'll see. I'm not. That's it.
It's a hope. at this point.
That's a big
Wish.
It's a wish, yeah. Other than that, our current assets is a total of about $858,000 at this point. Scroll down, Gary. And there we are with fixed assets. This is all of our owned property, plant and equipment, accumulated depreciation. And you can see what that total is. So total assets of just under $3 million. Scroll down to current liabilities. Okay, so I want you to remember the number that was up there under current assets, $858,000. You like to compare that to current liabilities, which is $663,000. You always want current assets to be more, and it is considerably more, so we're in real good shape there. Okay, coming down to liabilities and equity. Well, you scrolled way down. Okay, current. Okay, all right, yes, current liabilities. All right. So long-term liabilities, the only thing we have is our the loan on the truck that has the Tamron logo on the side. You all seen it running around the property. We bought it a few years ago, and we took a loan out on it. And then equity or net worth. This is always voodoo to me. Again, if you look at this one compared to our fixed assets, if the number was 2.1 million, and our equity or net worth total is 2.3 million. In this case, it flip-flops, and you want this lower number to be higher. So your net worth is higher than your fixed assets. Okay, so that's the balance sheet. Let's go to the income statement, Gary. Okay, can we squeeze that? Yeah, all right. Can everybody see that? I know the numbers are kind of small. Okay. Going down, the first section here is our all of our revenue streams. Big one is, of course, account 400, which is our association fee income. This is your quarterly dues that you pay. That's running pretty close to budget. Maintenance income, this account 404 is just a carryover from previous years when we had all of our owner requested maintenance done through the association. It's not done that way anymore. You get billed directly from BHP. So this is just some carryover revenue that didn't get realized until January. So unbudgeted, but we had some revenue there. Storage unit rental is running a little under budget. This is because we had some vacancies, so we missed some monthly rental income. But that's Gary tells me that the storage units are all 100% rented now, so we should recover there a little bit towards the end of the year. Commercial space rental. This is the real estate office, the hairdresser, what else?
And the housekeeping closets.
And the housekeeping closets, and that's running a little bit under budget because there's a billing lag. I think.
Show up in August.
Yeah, it'll show. Okay, there we go. Service and collection fees running right on budget. Transfer fees. This is related to the real estate market. It's a little soft. Units aren't turning over as quickly as they did in years past. So we're running a little under on that. This is a fee that's paid at closing by all new owners. All you new owners know about that. It's all understatements. Laundry machine income. For some reason, the company that puts all the laundry machines in the service centers here in the lodge and out in the outlying areas, they haven't been paying us our cut the first 2 quarters. Gary, did you hear anything back from
I
them
have
yet?
not heard from them.
We're chasing them.
We're chasing them.
Yeah, so hopefully we get that squared away before year end. Vending machine, where this account's gonna go away because the Pepsi Cola company, we transferred it over to Coke, and Coca-Cola, they've decided that there's not enough business to pay us a commission on this any longer. So we'll still have those soda machines in the service centers here in the lodge, but we won't make any money off of them. Miscellaneous income. Okay, so this is one of the anomalies that's popped up due to the conversion from QuickBooks to Buildium. Under QuickBooks, any revenues that we got that weren't in any of these other categories on the income statement that were like reimbursements from other expense accounts, we would just apply those to the expense accounts. Buildium won't let us do that, at least not yet. We're still figuring it out. So
We came up with
We
a
think we have a
solution
solution.
yesterday.
you guys figured that out after? Good.
That'll,
That's gonna be reclassed. We won't
in
have,
August, it'll show.
yeah.
All right, excellent. Okay, so that was an unbudgeted item and we had a little bit of money in there. These last 2 items, 460, 472 are related to rentals. 460 is the $30 resort fee that's collected on each rental day. And then Glacier gets the biggest cut of that, and so that people can use the facilities. The pool and fitness area and so forth. And then we get a little bit of a cut off of that. And that's down because of lower occupancy. We planned for, I think, 11,000 rental nights this year and we're tracking under that. 472 is the $60 a month that all short and long-term rental units are charged. And we just have fewer rental units. We had planned for 160 and we're down around 140 right now. So that's running under budget as well. So we're slightly unfavorable year to date to budget, but not considerably so. Go ahead and
Joe,
can we ask questions now?
How do you want to do that? You want to ask questions as we go?
It's the Joe Carey Show, whatever you want.
Fire away.
In the, yeah, go back up to the income. Two questions. The laundry machines, do they pay for themselves based upon our cost of electricity and water? And those, have we done that review on that as to see, are we losing money on them, I guess is my question.
If we're losing any money, it's it counts as an owner amenity. I mean, as you know, I don't know how many, I don't know what the percentage is, but probably better than half of the units, but no unit in here originally had washers and dryers.
Yeah.
Many owners have put them in, right? But some owners don't have them and they use the facility, so it's an owner amenity. So if there's a cost, that's where that cost is going. And no, to answer your question, no, nobody's done an analysis on that.
Okay. Taco rental administration fee, did I understand you to say it was $60
Per month, per
per
unit,
month?
and we're considering raising that.
I forgot what I was gonna ask now. I think that was it in turn, because I know that's changed since I was been here before in terms of the fee. The question, I guess, is, and I don't know how you come up with that figure. Are we able, is the 115 or whatever is budgeted there, does that basically compensate the budget based upon the expenses that we have
This is
property wide because of rental, folks, based upon our.
This is subjective. And the reason why it's subjective is, and Stacy talked about that in the new owners meeting.
Yeah.
Hour ago.
Yeah.
Is that this is to compensate the association for the disadvantages that people who rent their units bring to the property.
And the cost.
Wear and tear on the
There's a
property.
cost.
The one that's very subjective is insurance.
Yeah, got it.
We know that there's insurance companies, and our property right now is insured by 9 different insurance companies in layers.
Yeah.
We hope to reduce that.
Good.
But many of the insurance companies that would look at us, they'd go to their underwriters and say, do we want to take a piece of this pie? And one of the questions they always ask is, how many units are rented?
Yeah.
And the more rental units there are, the more their price goes up, or they decide, well, I just don't want to take that risk.
We just had that fight in Destin, Florida, on that whole subject of, are we at an advantage financially in our budget based upon that? And how others charge us because of being a rental property.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Yep.
Joe,
Okay,
Joe,
Derek.
can I just chime in? I've spoken to 2 owners down in Pinecone on the question of washers and dryers. Not only are they not paying you, but they're also not servicing their washers and dryers. So if you're after them, it sounds to me like they're playing hide and seek with us. You might want to
Very well.
really
So.
get after that.
Gary's been chasing him. So far, he's not gotten any responses.
Well, apparently when you open some of the doors, dog hair just kind of flies out at you. So it's pretty ugly,
That means the person who used the dryer last didn't clean the lint trap.
which probably means that they don't live here, but
Yeah.
which is another problem, but just sharing.
I just want
Michelle,
849 Michelle Demott.
Thanks, Michelle.
way to go. Somebody was listening.
That I used to use the washer and dryers there. I talked to Gary in it and he got it to where it was working a little better. But I go in town and get my laundry done. It is that bad. And it's more expensive now. They put a new thing on the machines and it's more expensive. And if you don't have the app, which I'm not gonna do because I have enough apps, then they charge you more than the ones that have the app. So my idea, just a thought, is I think we also, besides chasing them down, the other thing is having a key to go in that door. Because after hours, people go in and they use it, they get the ice machine. Doesn't bother me, but the ones upstairs, that's a problem to hear all that noise. So it used to be years ago, you'd have to have a key thing to open the laundry door during the day or whatever. So you were a person that needed to be there. So it would eliminate the campers that I haven't experienced that come in from elsewhere and use the laundromat.
So you're suggesting perhaps that we put a key, we could do a keypad with an owner's code where only owners are allowed to use those machines. It's an amenity for owners, but renters and strangers from town then can't get in. Is
I
that?
don't think the renters could have, the code as well, but strangers,
Yeah,
shouldn't be able to.
I think
I'm
this,
not opposed to renters or the ones that are servicing the rental units,
yeah,
but it's really bad.
it's a good conversation for the upcoming budget workshop, I think.
Okay,
If you can attend that, we don't always have heavy attendance, but I encourage this kind of exchange for that as we're getting ready for 2026, so that we sort of have a roadmap and hear from our owners. That's it. We've talked, actually, I've talked to Bobby about putting a keypad lock on the service center doors. For that reason. I know one of the service centers, somebody took all the doors off the dryers. Yep. And that kind of thing,
Why would somebody do?
just vandals.
Oh, this was vandalism?
Rip them off.
And maybe put a
Rip them
camera
off.
in them too.
and it really should have a broom and a dustpan in there. A neighbor of ours has been kind enough to put theirs in and it disappears. So.
Ours would
So-
too.
Yeah,
Ours would too.
And I can't, before, when everything was pretty good, you
Mhm.
can't go in there without something to clean off the top of the soap. And have paper
Yeah.
towels and stuff to clean up while you're going in just anyway.
Well,
But-
that's a good suggestion to think about. Let's talk more about that in October.
Okay.
This is, first group is administrative expenses. Top big item is insurance. It looks like it's way over budget. Technically, it is at this point, but we pay for our insurance from October through July. So we have fully paid for our 2025 insurance to date. So, but clarify, that's October 15th to October 15th. So we get 2 free months and that'll catch up when the year-to-date budget increments up and it'll probably get close to right there. But then October 15th, we'll have our renewal and we'll have to pay the upfront costs for our 2025, 2026 insurance. And that will bring us up, at least up to budget, maybe, but we're hoping we had a conversation with our agent last night and we're hoping to actually get a little bit better deal next year. So those numbers look at a line right now, but they're actually not. Accounting and tax prep, we don't do our taxes until after the audit's finished, and the 2024 audit is being worked as we speak. And hopefully we'll have the results of that at the meeting tomorrow. Is there any chance?
She's coming tomorrow and she'll speak to it.
Good, okay. Assessment fees uncollectible, we've got nothing there. That's just a plug number like an in case. And we haven't written anything off this year, so we're okay there. Legal and professional fees, this is mostly our legal fees with our association attorney. A little high right now, but we hope that's going to be under budget, at or under budget. By the time we get to the end of the year, we're not expecting much the next couple of months.
Yeah.
If anything, there was we have reworked our employee handbook. That's going to be the subject of discussion today.
Mhm.
That was money we hadn't expected to spend. And then there was an owner who had a legal issue regarding windows. So we had some legal fees associated with that. But again, that should balance out by the end of the year. Auditing and consulting fees, again, the audit will be done in the next month or within shortly, right? And we'll get billed for the audit and that'll be on budget. Annual meeting, why do we have a 477 positive there?
The donation, we don't have the expenses and we've had, some of the donations applied against.
Oh.
Edward Jones,
Oh,
has graciously donated $500. And then there's a little bit of the golf fees that are also showing up there.
and then we've had the mailing expense and all that.
Yeah,
Takes away
yeah.
from that. Okay. So the annual meeting, we're right in the midst of that, so that'll be filled out in the next few days, actually. Web services, most of these fees, this is for our domain hosting and our website registration. The Zoom's subscription. What else is in there, Gary?
GoDaddy,
That's our domain name and website registration.
but it also includes email and
Okay.
Office 365.
Office 365, yeah. And so we haven't spent anything there yet, but most of those bills come due towards the end of the year. 537 is good, 540 is good, property taxes are right on. Highway signage, these are the two blue signs coming south and going north. As you approach the property, says Tamaron this way. The price just went up. We got the bill and they jumped it up to $900 from $500.
They haven't raised it in years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been 500 for as long as I can remember.
It wasn't a 1 year jump.
So, anyway. HOA software, this is Buildium and Bookerville. And those have both been paid for, so that's right on budget.
I want to say that Buildium, that was originally, Bookerville was up in web services.
Yeah.
When we decided last year and did the budget for HOA software, we had no idea what we were looking at, so we estimated 7,000 and Buildium came in at 4,000. So Buildium was really under budget. Then we moved Bookerville down there too, so it brought it to 7,000. But our committee did a really good job searching out HOA softwares. The other one that was close to Buildium was twice as expensive for the subscription and twice as expensive for the onboarding. So,
And
good
it didn't
job.
have as many features and they charge the owners things that this one doesn't.
Yeah, so just wanted to say for the committee who took part in all the meetings and Lisa she attended every meeting. So, and Gary, Carlos, thank you everybody for the research that went into Buildium.
So total administrative expenses is unfavorable to budget, but again, most of that's the upfront payment of our insurance premiums. So that will come back to normal towards the end of the year. Go back there, Gary. Yeah. Before we leave this, any questions? Okay, go ahead. Personnel expenses, a little bit under budget. The biggie there is 595, our workman's comp. We had been working through, what was the company? Pinnacle Insurance. They had been doing our workman's comp insurance for years and years. And we actually had our current property and liability insurance carrier, USI, take a look at that and see if they could give us a better deal. And they gave us a great deal. And so that positive $4,700 there is basically a refund we got from Pinnacle.
Mhm.
So little shopping with better deal. Okay, so move on, Gary. Operations expense. Okay, so building maintenance is a little bit over budget. And it's actually over budget based on the year's plan. Did we have any? When you talked about that, was there anything in particular? Just is what it is. This is a 50-year-old property, and the older it gets, the more expensive it gets to maintain it. This 613 is the offset carryover from the what I spoke of on the second line of the income. So there was some carryover as well on the cost side, though not nearly as much. Cast iron replacements, this is a continuing problem, and it's going to be a continuing problem again. The drain plumbing in these buildings is over 50 years old, and I'm real time proof of that, because I've got the walls opened in my downstairs bathroom, and I'm having cast iron replaced right now that cracked and was leaking down. So I always like to say, if you got cast iron inside your walls, it's not if you're going to have a problem, it's when.
These,
We always tell people, Cheryl will corroborate this. We always tell people, if you're going to do a remodel,
Get rid of the cast. and
if
put
you're
in
going to open up
PVC.
any walls and you see black cast iron in there, even if it looks good, replace it.
and the amounts that we're paying for here are the taco responsibility ones.
Yeah,
Owners need to pay for their own.
Right, it's on the
cast.
conjoined
Yeah,
wall.
so that's right.
yeah. If it's in a common wall, Taco pays for it. If it's not in a common wall, and this is in particular 2-story units where you have above and below, and you've got that plumbing. If you had X-ray vision, you can see all the plumbing up there. That's on the owners, because it's within the common walls of the unit. Okay. Snow removal, good news, bad news. We had a very light snow year. And so we didn't spend as much on snow removal. If we have a normal November, December, what do you think we're looking at, Bobby? Maybe total of 50,000?
If we don't have any snow,
No, if we have a
do,
normal
we want
snow.
if we have a normal snow, if it's like 23, well.
That was
Well,
abnormal snow.
That wasn't
That was
normal.
abnormal snow.
Average.
Average.
Yeah.
It's anybody's guess.
I mean, we could have of course, December snow is more likely, but then that won't get billed until January. Do we adjust that back? We do adjust
Yeah.
it back. Okay.
Triangle weather guys for us, we're gonna get early snow, so we
Good.
could have snow in
Yeah.
October, November.
So we'll probably get closer to budget on that, but I don't think we'll go over. That'd be a horrific amount of snow if we
Yes,
did that, so.
we had that in
So there's the good
23,
news,
so,
bad news again.
yeah.
Roof and ceiling repairs. One of the reasons this is over budget is because when we did have a heavy snow, the one heavy snow we had last year, it took out what, six fireplace chimneys?
5 chimneys,
Yeah, and so we
that
had,
snow slid off the roofs.
Yeah.
Very
And those- and
successfully.
when those chimneys that get knocked down, that's not an inexpensive repair.
No.
Yeah. So that's why we're all having that, anybody who's not in the lodge, that's why you got billed for the snow bar and then the additional snow bars. And that's to protect all those roof penetrations, so they don't get knocked down by any heavy snow. Grounds is right on budget. Common area plumbing, again, this is more. Well, the big one there was where we had to dig up High Point and fix that sewer line, right?
Correct.
Yes, okay.
It was PVC, not cast, but, so that's why it's in plumbing instead of cast iron replacements.
Right.
Yeah, Bobby, somebody had washed stuff.
There was a golf ball in the sewer line. And the sewer line had collapsed on top of the golf ball, so that anything smaller than the golf ball would get through the line, anything bigger would not.
It was a service center,
Yep.
right?
We could bring back that whole runner conversation again, but
I was like a golf ball.
they left it in their pocket.
Yeah,
They're doing
yeah.
Oh, they did the one.
Yeah.
Oh. Hmm.
it.
Okay, where was I? HVAC common areas, it's under budget. 628 administrative is right on budget. Close. Miscellaneous building and property labor. We were talking about this the last couple of days, and we think we got a little benefit here that we might have over budgeted this a little bit. So that'll help.
Joe, what type of labor would that include?
That'll
Like that
help.
all.
Miscellaneous, includes all kinds of stuff, like when the guys go fuel up all the gas tanks for the mowers, when we refill the propane tanks for the grills.
Emptying trash out of the recycling.
Yeah, emptying the lovely trash that people put in the recycling bins. We spend about an hour a day taking trash out of recycling, breaking down boxes that aren't broken down, otherwise you get fined. Running cameras down the sewer lines, the lock project that we had on property, guys going with those guys that unlock units and stuff. I mean, this is pages of stuff. that
Yeah.
You would think of, you know.
It's basically anything that's not covered in any of these other line items.
But it really is miscellaneous stuff.
Yeah.
Like the lock project took quite a bit of time and what that was just somebody from our maintenance staff accompanying the locksmith to when he opened doors and
Same with the
Things like that.
smokes, we have this.
Smoke, same with the smoking.
That's why it's so high, is we had a lot of miscellaneous
Yeah.
stuff happen in two thousand
Putting up
twenty-five.
Christmas lights, taking Christmas lights down.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Window washing is right on budget, but I'm told that that budget's gonna have to go up if we're gonna continue doing it because it's getting harder and harder for companies to get companies to come up here and do it. 637, 638, 639, and 41 are all the exterior maintenance, keeping up the exteriors of the buildings. After we did our exterior remodels years ago, we made a commitment to keep up with, rather than having to stain everything every 10 years, we decided to do it on a year-over-year basis to keep the buildings looking nice, not let them start looking old over time. And so that's what those monies are for, and most of those are pretty much right on budget, a little bit over maybe. Fire sprinklers and extinguishers, pretty close. Elevator maintenance is a little over budget. This was the one where we had to bring the elevator company up here to safety watch.
Yeah.
When we were doing,
TK.
and why was this? We were doing the alarm systems.
Yeah, TKE was doing something and they requested their people do security watch.
So we're probably gonna be a little over budget on that. Because we have a monthly
It's a
fee.
contract, so it's usually right on budget, but this was just an extra
It's gonna
charge.
make it go over.
Extra fee.
Communication systems maintenance, over, pretty close. Temperature monitoring alarms, right on budget. Fog broken windows, this is where owners request windows be replaced because they fog up the dual pane glass, gets moisture inside and it fogs up.
It's the glass pane replacement, not the full window.
Yeah, just the glass replacement. Gary said Gary told me the other day, we're gonna probably spend about 25K total, or is that 25K more
25K total.
total? So we'll be a little under budget on that this year. This 674 is a misnomer. We don't have night weekend staff anymore. We discontinued having maintenance on property on nights and weekends. So Bobby, you were saying that this is the opening and closing activities for the most part.
Yeah.
Everything maintenance has to do at the beginning of the day, opening things up, unlocking locks, checking the property or checking on the property, and then closing down at night, making sure everything's locked up and secure.
Yep.
So we're gonna change the name of that line item there. I thought we were gonna do that. We didn't do it.
Yeah, I think that we talked about it, but
Yeah.
never
We'll get around to that.
decided.
Maintenance and insurance on vehicles is good. Fire mitigation around buildings. Okay, so we spent a lot of money on fire mitigation and it's money well spent because it helps us with our insurance costs. Bobby, you wanna talk about what's all in here?
Yeah, I can address it in the property report too.
Are you gonna do that? Okay, so basically, this is a combination of a fire mitigation company, Underwood Forestry. They cut down some trees, they
Did everything else.
Cut down a lot of trees.
We've done a lot of trees, heavy brush, all that heavy brush that disappeared from the west side of Gamble Oak. We did all that. So,
And a lot of that, that work used to be in grounds,
yeah,
and we're allowed to use it for fire mitigation, so.
and the good news is all that fire mitigation work qualified us for a grant from the state of Colorado. So we're gonna get, it's all been approved, money should be we should be getting the money soon. That's about $16,000 we're gonna get back off of this. So that'll go again. Electrical and appliance, this was a mid-year breakout because we wanted to track that one. We'll budget for it next year. Pest control and bat mitigation, it's pretty much right on budget. Carpet cleaning and janitorial, this was a big oops on the budget. We have to keep the common areas in the lodge and the service centers, all the inside common areas, we have to keep them clean. And it costs a fair amount of money to do that. What we had actually budgeted for, I think, was just the carpet cleaning. And so,
Yeah, I think you're right.
so that's an oops, and we won't make that mistake again. So the total operations is unfavorable to budget by a fair amount, a little over $100,000. Guess we'll just have to address that when we budget next year.
Most of that's fire mitigation.
Yeah, well, and don't forget, we're gonna spend less than half of the budget on snow removal, so
Mhm.
it's the aggregate of all these things. There's a lot of items that are a little bit over budget. So and it adds up. Utilities and utilities expense, we're over budget on water and sewer, but that's a seasonal thing because we irrigate. We spend a lot of money on irrigation water. It's been a dry summer. And so we're a little over budget on irrigation. My guess is that we will be over budget overall. And then we brace ourselves in next month to see if our water rates are gonna go up or not. Electricity is a little over budget. We queried La Plata Electric last fall, asking if there was gonna be any rate increases. They said no, and then they surprised us with an 8% increase after the first of the year. So we're a little bit over budget on utilities. And capital projects. The High Point parking lot is finished. We paid a down payment, the second payment. Have we received the bill for the second one? For the finish of the.
Yeah, we've got,
From Leader?
yeah,
So that'll be pretty much right on budget when we pay that bill. S-deck replacements, this is where the main supports under the spiral stairs that go up for the S units and Pinecone and Gamble Oak start to fail. We fixed 2 of those this year. It cost a $4,000, so that's going to be under budget. Outside spiral staircase. We get rust and these staircases get a little shaky, so we had to fix a few of those. And that's pretty much right on budget. Fire suppression pump, where was that supposed to be?
Lodge,
Lodge.
last one.
We didn't do it yet. We'll defer it and do it next year.
Right.
The new lock project, the revenues all came in for this project. As you know, it was delayed. There was a delay in getting the locks from the vendor. So that project didn't get finished until early part of this year. And so we didn't realize the expense. We didn't pay for it until then. So that added to the expense line here when it was unbudgeted. Unplanned capital expenses, we usually have surprises that we have to spend money on. We didn't this year, so good for that.
Yeah, we're not through it yet.
Yeah, we're not done. We've got a couple more bonds. Fire alarm system upgrade. This looks under budget. and it is at this point, but for some reason Durango Electric, who did all the work up in High Point, hasn't sent us the bills yet.
They trickled.
They, for whatever reason, they're slow to bill. What do we owe them? Another about 80,000? Yeah, so that'll come back. We'll be under budget on that overall, which is another good one. And then, deck repairs in Pine Cone and Gamble Oak, we got all that done. We're at budget. So the total capital expense is favorable by a fair amount. And then you look at total expenses and that compares to total revenues up on the first page. And right now we're unfavorable to budget by a fair amount. But again, a lot of that is the insurance that we still won't have to pay. So that'll catch up. I think we're still gonna be unfavorable to budget total for the end of the year, but we'll be a lot closer than that number looks. That's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Joe
Okay.
and Elisa.
Joe,
Oh,
Not about the budget per se, Joe, but on the total roofing project, we had a fixed price contract and we also had a contingency. Bottom line, did the association end up funding a
Good.
small amount of the roof? or
Good
did we
question.
actually-
$40,000 over budget.
Thank you.
25%.
Joe. Reserve.
Oh, I'm sorry, reserves. Okay, there's nothing really to say on that. That's our, as you saw on the balance sheet, our net balance in our reserves is 232,633. That number, 280,000, represents all of the money that we moved out of reserves back into the roofing account so we could pay for the roof. So that tells you how much we borrowed from reserves to get ahead of the curve on the roof project.
mhm.
And a part of that was because the roof project was finished. Oh,
Early.
5 months ahead of schedule?
Way ahead of schedule.
So they were ahead of
Because it does
schedule.
snow.
Yeah,
The roofing project got finished before the revenues flowed.
before the
into
revenues
last
flowed
payment.
in. So that's why that number's there. Okay, now I'm done.
Okay, on to reports. I'm gonna give a quick rules and regs update. You'll be hearing more at the owner meeting from Trish Layfield tomorrow. If you see any rules and regs violations, please report them in Buildium. Buildium is set up to do all the tracking that we're required to do by the state of Colorado. So don't, a phone call, we're really trying to move more toward automated documentation. Second thing is, I've had a number of owners complain about renters who are violating rules, whether it's cars or dogs or noise or even children on electronic scooters throughout the parking lots. Report those to us. Just because they're a renter doesn't mean that they can't be held accountable. What we do is we notice the owner, and if it's not cured, we will find the owner. It's up to the owner to make sure that their guests are following the rules on property, and that includes renters. So the owner, if they get a notice from us, they coordinate with our property manager and say, hey, my renter, I'm gonna get a fine if my renters don't change this behavior. So just because it's a renter, don't think there's nothing you can do. We're here to not only protect the association, but also the owner experience. And so use Buildium, let us know what's going on. We are here to help. And that's it for the rules and regs report. Brian.
Where do you report a violation on this?
So where you do a maintenance request,
Yeah,
it drops down and it'll say maintenance or other, and you do other. And then you say rules and regs violation. Carlos sent out an email with screenshots on how to report that. So if you go through your emails, you should see that. That went out probably 2 weeks ago. He did a instruction on how to report rules and regs violations in Buildium.
so you do a general inquiry?
Yep.
Okay.
So I have a question about
Uh-huh.
that. So if you see a rules and regs violation, I forget what holiday it was, we had kids on those scooters.
Yeah.
All up and down the parking lot.
Mhm.
So assume that I went online and I reported this.
Mhm.
This is a item that you gotta act on fairly quick.
You do.
So what, are we equipped to handle
Yep,
these?
so what
fast?
happens is when you submit that, Carlos gets it and he'll tag it to the Rules and Regs Committee and we action it right away. Now, if you just say, I saw a renter riding a scooter, but you don't know what unit number they're in. We can't do anything because we don't know which owner to contact. But if you happen to see them going in and out, and we did action that one,
Did you?
actually, yeah. So we keep it, but we keep it private. We don't say, oh, Cheryl Terhar said that your renter is riding scooters. We keep it all very confidential, but we do action what's noticed. And so that's what happens. The office comes in the next business day and they'll tag it to us. And then Trisha, Carla, Lisa, and I will get a notification that there's a new rules or regs violation to address.
So you don't know how, I mean, I was on my front deck or looking out my window and I saw these kids going up and down. I don't know what unit they're in.
Somebody knew,
I think,
because we
I
addressed
think
it.
I know who knew.
Yeah. Somebody knew. So we got it taken care of. Okay. Next is our insurance report, Chad.
Hey, good morning, everyone. And it is just we're in the stages of working with a couple of folks to get us going. And as Joe had mentioned earlier, we are really hoping to get this, I guess, the layers of about 7 to 8 insurance companies and getting it down to a handful so we can get better pricing. Stacy and I were on a couple of calls, and the insurance is, I guess, the industry is more favorable this time of year, or this in this cycle. So there's a lot more activity, and so we are very, I would say, cautiously optimistic that we should have a good, a favorable report coming come October 15th. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and do our due diligence. And I know you guys were able to met with our current carrier last night. Hopefully that went well. And then they'll be here tomorrow to answer any questions for you guys. And I do want to give a shout out to Bobby because and all the fire mitigation that has helped tremendously. Mark, all of your work on the roofs. I mean, every time we talk to folks, it is just, oh, well, y'all do this, you do this. I mean, we're taking proactive steps, and so it's all leading into a hopefully a better place than when we were 2 years ago, where it was sticker shock to say the least. So that's where we are, and we'll have more coming up.
Thanks, Chad. Yeah, more information to come. Our broker will be at the owner meeting tomorrow and she'll take questions. But it is looking like the huge crash of the market that brought insurance up here is doing a slow decline, and we should see some improved coverage and some price reduction, barring anything jolting happening between now and our renewal date of October 15th. Yes.
Well, and hey, and the other one is everybody keep doing your rain dances, because apparently that's gonna help.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Chad. Bobby, you have a property report for us? And do you need to come up here, or can people hear Bobby when he's back there?
Might want to bring him on camera.
How do you want to take this chair?
So as the summer begins to wrap up, we finally have seen some rain, so that's been a blessing. It's been a busy year on property. We kicked off the new fire alert system upgrade on property, with High Point being the first stop of the project. Durango Electric worked, and they had to dig in between each building to run their wire and their conduit to pull from building to building for the new fire panels. We repaired broken sprinkler lines that were unidentifiable, and some low voltage lines. Juwan worked with Durango Electric to ensure that the backup air dialers were programmed and installed as that project went through its completion. They did state inspection last Friday. Everything passed. So like Stacy mentioned earlier, High Point will be replying remotely to third party. If there's an issue up there, we will no longer get that alarm at the front desk. Gamble Oak, Pine Cone, and the Lodge, like she mentioned, still remain to be done. We've been busy this year dealing with a number of cast iron replacement issues on property. In 2026, we will be reaching out to Big Cat Plumbing, who did some lining at the lodge, to give us a serious review of our cast iron in the lodge and options we may have moving forward. Also, we'll be starting a review options in fire sprinkler head replacements on property with Fox Valley Fire. Both of these projects are in the beginning stages of discussion, so more to come in the future. Recently, we did have a line in Pinecone that we needed to have M&R Plumbing come up and jet the line. We had a pretty good clog in that line. They jet it with hot, high pressure water. That line has about a 30-foot section in it that has a belly, which has a dip in it. During the jetting of that, we were able to clear the water in that line. M&R discovered that area, the line, the bottom of that section has about an inch to inch and a half wide section where the cast iron has places where it's missing. This line will need to be dealt with in the near future. And so we're going to get a quote on this to see the opportunities to possibly get it lined once the board discusses it. Fire mitigation, we've done a lot of work this year. As everybody knows, that we were able to start early because we didn't have much snow. We started in March in preparation for the dry fire season. We worked with Alex Graff from Wildfire Adaptive and Underwood Forestry for our fire mitigation efforts. We've done a lot more cleaning and raking in the areas this year to try and drastically reduce the risk of fire. We removed close to 300 gamble oak trees in Gamble Oak on the west side and the south side of Gamble Oak, reducing ladder fuels by 75% in this area. We also cut down about 12 ponderosa trees and pinecone in working with Wildfire Adaptive on this. We will be receiving, as Joe mentioned, a reimbursement check for $16,346.50 for our efforts in fire mitigation. We will be working with these guys again next year to do more work. Mainly, a lot of work will be done in High Point next year and also property wide. As most of you know, we did a fire emergency preparedness drill on property back in April with La Plata County EMS, with Rob and Search and Rescue in conjunction with Glacier and Rockwood. We did another one on September 2nd this week with Glacier and Rockwood as well. We had 86 owners get registered, so we appreciate the turnout. These drills allow us to stay on our toes and allow owners to get registered and go through the process. Also to get your rapid tags in case we ever need them. We will be continuing to partner with Glacier and Rockwood for next year. We already have 2 drills scheduled. So we will continue to do those.
Can I jump in?
Yep.
Okay. This is a test. Raise your hand if you have the Watch Duty app.
Oh, Watch Duty, yes.
That's good.
Very
That's
good.
really good.
Raise your hand if you have the, is it called Code Red?
Code Red.
Code Red app. Okay, when we had the fire back here this summer, there were a number of owners who said, what's going on? What's going on? Do we have to evacuate? Tamaron is not taking responsibility for evacuating residents. That's up to you. Watch Duty is an app where you can watch every fire and it will tell you if you're under pre-evacuation, if an evacuation order has been given, if the evacuation order has been canceled, how many acres the fire is, what the percentage of containment. La Plata County recommends that residents get this, and you should. And then the Code Red app is where you'll get your alert from La Plata County that says, you're gonna have to evacuate, do this. It's very important because in the 416 fire, Dave Dunn, one of our staff, went door to door to get people out. If we have a fire and have to evacuate, I'm telling our staff to get out. I'm not going to have anybody go door to door, and it is up to owners. So we are really wanting owners to take responsibility for themselves. So when you see us send out information on these apps and fire safety, don't just delete the email and assume that, well, we'll take care of you at the time. This is your opportunity to stay informed in the event of emergencies, and we really want every owner to do that. I'll be saying this again at the owner meeting tomorrow. For our new owners, awesome. You've got the app. I love it. And if you have any questions about the apps, talk to us after the meeting, or we can send out another email. But in the email that announced the evacuation drill on September 2nd. The attachments to that email had all the apps listed that you should get. So, yes,
I
Michelle.
just have one quick question for fire prevention. We have one huge pine tree we're at 849, and at 848, it has the blue ribbon around it as they were going to cut it down. So I don't know, maybe they forgot to take the ribbon off because they don't need to cut it down, or they missed it. And so we need to know.
Yeah.
It'll be coming
Is
down in
it
the spring.
painted? I'm sorry?
It'll be coming down in the spring.
Oh, good.
What
Yeah.
tree?
Okay.
Is that the big tree?
No, it's a pine tree in between those two buildings.
Yeah. it's
Oh, in
okay.
between the buildings. Okay.
Okay,
Um,
thanks. Go ahead, Bob.
also tomorrow, Rob, from Applaud County Emergency Preparedness Drill, the county, he will be at our meeting tomorrow. If you guys have any questions to talk about stuff. Alex Graff will be there from Wildfire Adaptive, and also Corey, from Glacier. We work a lot with Glacier, especially when it comes to fire mitigation. They've been really helpful to us this year. We help them as much as we can, and they help us. So that's a good partnership that we want to keep working on. So he'll be there also tomorrow. So if you guys have any questions for them guys also.
I'd like to thank Bobby for his reaching out and making sure that he got Rockwood, Glacier, everybody, because without Bobby's efforts, we wouldn't be here.
Appreciate it, but yeah. Landscaping crew has been hard work also this year. We're trying to keep everything green in light of serious lack of rain, which has really hurt. This summer was Selena's last year. She went back to El Paso for college. She was an awesome help in getting our flower beds back in order and weeding and maintaining for the 2 summers she was here. So she'll be missed. That will be a tough one to fill. This year we opted out of spraying with Scott's, and we went help from Chris at Glacier. We adopted their spraying and fertilizing program. It's a 4-step fertilization process. Although the lack of rain has hurt, I feel that the grass looks good and the weeds are definitely down. Juwan has been working on some internet issues on property with Ting, property wide. We had multiple brief power outages this year on property, which disrupted all of our cameras. So Juwan is looking at getting the possibility of getting backup UPS systems on all the cameras, so we don't continually have these issues. We are also getting ready for winterization of our riser boxes under buildings that contain the water lines and the fire suppression systems under the building areas, replacing bad heaters, rotten breakers, plugging in heat trace wire. All in all, it's been a good year. So far, things are going good on property. We did have a few owners reach out asking about installing the possibility of installing sunshades on their decks to get relief from the sun, especially on the west side of Gamble after the fire mitigation done. It really opened up those units to get that evening sun on the west. I've measured all the decks on property. There's very small variation, but I'm suggesting the board discuss this and decide if it warrants ARC approval for each shade, or if they want to do a fast track scenario. Once decided upon, we can move forward. There's also been some discussion on the possibility of adding more cameras on property. At the moment, we have hardwired cameras and they go down a lot because of lightning and power outages. One way to fix this problem, like I said, to install the backup systems, we have about 20 cameras on property. We are going to start looking into the options of going wireless and the feasibility of this option. Technology's come a long ways from the way our cameras were installed. So we're going to start to research that option and see what it would cost. Maybe add some more and just go wireless. Lastly, over the year, we have been looking at software for maintenance in Tamaron as a whole. There are things that the software that we have found will benefit BHP, and the bigger picture of benefits come in tracking and time and cost for maintenance for Tamaron. In all different line items that are broke out to the budget. So the software would allow everybody to track their time when they're in those different areas of the budget. We feel strongly that Tamaron should take a harder look at this option, and BHP would be willing to share some of the onboarding costs to assist. So we're going to hopefully take a look at that this year also.
I'd like to jump in there. Currently, our maintenance department is pretty much using the system that they inherited, which is paper and records kept in Excel via notes. So if if we want to know, for example, when we did the large sewer lines, we said, hey, what's the history of backups in the outlying complexes? Kind of hard to get our hands on because we don't have automation there. And we don't have automation in time tracking. Whereas when you have software like the package they're looking at, one of the maintenance guys can go to work on something in my unit that would be a charge to owner time. And if there's an emergency at the lodge with, say, a water problem, then he can pause the work on mine, go to the lodge, start the work, finish, and then go back to mine and restart it. Everything through the phone, through an app, very precise time tracking and very precise property history, where you have history per unit, you have history per common area and type of maintenance. And then I'll finally add, our insurance company has been asking to the point of almost pestering me about cybersecurity and what's on a network and what's automated and what has multi-factor authentication. It's becoming a big issue for insurance, as she said, with a huge focus on small businesses that don't have automation, that don't have networks. And so they said it's really awesome that we did Buildium. So I think I'm going to be asking us as we approach the budget year to consider maintenance software just for more precision in time tracking and building a property history of what's going on in general and privately owned areas as far as maintenance goes. So more to come, maybe in the budget workshop, we'll talk about that. Yes.
Yeah, hi, I'm Polly Zito, Unit 8.
Hi, Polly.
Hi, and I have a question for Bobby. A while back, I put in the request about having the trees trimmed up high, the branches of the pine cone, which there's like 8 of them. When you first turn off the South Cameron, when you get a pine cone parking lot, that always ices over the winter time and cars lose control and hit those trees and there's been accidents and lots of problems. So I never heard back on if that's a possibility, just get those branches up higher so we can get sunlight and we can get around that curve without.
Yeah, I talked to Kevin with Underwoods, last time he was up here. I just didn't get back to you. We're gonna look at possibly taking some of those out, next spring.
Oh.
Definitely trimming them up, but probably taking quite a few of them out.
Good.
Yep.
That it helps the winter time.
Yeah, it gets pretty shaded right there. That's all I got.
Okay, any questions? Online or in the room? Great, we'll go to Cheryl for architectural review projects.
Can you share with me here?
This is saying you're still connecting to audio.
I'm sure it's gone slow, but it should. There we go. So I wanted to start with our ARC, just so everybody knows, when you are on your app on your phone, the ARC request does not show on the app. You do need to use your computer for doing any ARC requests. When you open up the Resident Center, you'll see it on the left-hand side for submitting any ARC requests there. So it's not available on the app. The app's got limited features where if you go on the Resident Center on your computer, you're able to get to it. I have one request from an owner over at the lodge, Joseph, and he is in unit 328. And he has, Bobby and I have looked at this, the scope of work, and this is a board approval. It's an extension of a loft or structural build. The loft will be livable space, so it will be a permitted loft. So we'll go through the county for all of the necessary permits that are needed. Bobby and I have reviewed in extenso his request. We've looked at what the builder is planning on doing. He had it structurally engineered. He's got all of the right components in this for doing this. Bobby and I both feel strongly that this owner actually has gone through all of the steps needed. He was very gracious in answering any questions that I had on doing this loft extension. The space will just give him a little bit more usable space. He's got, as I said, everything on there for structural components. So it is very well thought out, very well built. And it will be, if approved by the board, it will be a permitted livable space by the county. Bobby will follow this to make sure all permits are pulled as required and make sure that prior to signing off on this, that we are green tagged on this by the county so that it will be approved and it will stay in our ARC requests in Buildium so that it is something that we all know was done correctly. I make a motion that we approve this unless the board has any questions on this that I can answer or Bobby can answer.
Are we approving it subject to proper permitting?
The owner knows that it is being approved to proper permits being pulled. Yes.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Board questions?
So this is 628 of 328. You said?
No.
Not unit 328?
Oops, sorry.
Somebody's talking.
It's, yes, 328 IL, sorry.
Okay, so it's an IL, so
Yes.
it's on the parking lot side over here.
Mhm.
And so this is an extension of the existing,
They're creating,
Loft.
they're creating a
They're-
new deck, new loft. Yes,
So
Bobby.
this has an elevated ceiling. I was having a hard time picturing it because I've got 305, 306, and there's no room for a loft. So this is on the opposite side.
this is on the parking lot side.
Okay, so it's got okay, thank you.
It already has a loft
Right.
with access by a spiral stair.
And this is an extension to that.
So they're gonna extend it
The livable
towards,
space into
towards-
their unit.
into
Yeah,
the living
yeah,
area.
Yes, into their living
and
area.
it, and I quickly saw that picture and it looked like they're taking out the spiral stair and putting in
New stairway.
a straight stairway.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, which I know many owners are wanting to do because
Oh.
up those spirals and as we get older or get anything up them.
Is
Yeah.
the stairway something that requires
It'll all-
proper permitting as far as its
It'll all
width?
be part of the permit.
It'll all be part of the permit.
Yeah, when we pull a permit for a project, it's everything, the whole scope of work goes into the permit.
How far are they extending that wall?
I think about 6 feet.
Yeah.
Any questions from owners? Comments?
So does this new construction in any way touch common elements?
No,
that it
none at
didn't
all. It's all
before?
within his unit.
It's all self-contained.
All in his, within his unit. Yep.
Okay.
And I would like to once again comment on his submittal. I could not have asked for a better submittal from anybody on this. So I once again appreciate that from the owner. I didn't have to ask more than once for a little bit of information and he and his contractor got me everything. So thank you again to the owner.
And if I remember correctly, in the past, we had a lot of discussions and the discussion was all around, we hadn't gone to the county and gotten proper permits. So
Exactly.
we've corrected that and now that's fixed.
Yes, yep. Livable space. It will be totally followed by the county. It'll have to get green tagged.
Okay, any more questions, comments? Let's take it to vote. All in favor?
I
Aye.
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 have just approved it. Thank you very much, board. That is all I have.
No.
If there's any, and just so everybody knows, when you do submit those, it does take Bobby and I a couple of weeks to go through all of the information that's submitted to us. So we do look at it. I usually immediately reply and ask for more information, but if you submit an ARC request, it's not like it gets submitted and it's approved. It's something that has to be looked at so we can see whether it has to be taken to the board or if it's something that can be done without approval. So giving us time before a board meeting, if it does have to be board approved, we need at least a couple of weeks. So anything that comes in from today, from the last week or so forward, would go to our next board meeting if it needs board approval. I'm not going to say the date of that because I keep screwing it up.
Well, it
November.
hasn't been established yet.
Okay, no, November, October, something.
Well, it'll be in that neighborhood.
Okay, so that will win.
That'll be decided upon tomorrow.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So that everybody knows that's when the next one will be.
You done sharing?
Yes.
I have a quick update on Buildium. Everybody's done a great job.
Excuse me, can I ask a question? This is Steve C., Unit 777.
Sure.
I had submitted a request to put in sunshades. It was not covered, and I want to understand the status of that.
Did you put it in Buildium?
I did not. It was the day after the last board meeting, and I sent it to you via email.
And that is when Bobby started doing the measurements to see if we could do a mass approval on that.
Yeah,
So-
but the mass approval's not done. So I've submitted it under the old way. So
Okay,
I wanted to get a status.
go ahead and submit an ARC request. Gary Prisby did that for the May board meeting. Currently, because it is a change to common elements, which are owned by the association, it would require ARC approval. We haven't made any rules about sunshades. We'll visit that, whether they can sort of be fast tracked. But currently our documents say that requires ARC approval. So Bobby has the measurements of your unit and can make a recommendation of the type of shade needed. But anybody who wants to make changes to the common elements, the thing is, you do not own that property personally. So it does require ARC review. So when in doubt, just submit your request there to start the conversation and document it.
So I did. I guess that's my question. I did submit it, Stacy, right after the last meeting.
It
And I
needed, Steve, it needed to be submitted in Buildium, and we were holding off, Stacy, if you remember, because we were trying to see.
Yeah, it took a lot of time this summer for Bobby. We've kind of been working toward it, Steve, for Bobby to get measurements of every type of deck and every shade available to sort of narrow down our options, because as you know, with a condo community, we have to have continuity and exterior appearance. We can't let somebody put up a purple and pink flowered shade and this person put up one that's striped like zebras. So we have to have some say in how that goes. And we've been working on figuring that out. It just all takes time.
Well, and I appreciate that, Stacy, and the board, but you have other people all across that have them already. And then you approved that less for Gary at the last meeting. My submittal was the exact same as Gary's. I used the exact same documents and everything and sent the email. And so that's why I guess I didn't see it on the list. And I've been waiting the last 3 months because I did ask if it could be fast tracked because we're right in the middle of the summer. And at this point, it's not on there. So I guess I can go back and look at the emails that I submitted. At that point, the new system wasn't in place. And so that's why I submitted it that way.
Did you submit your model, your color?
Everything. I used the exact same form. Gary was kind enough to give it to me, so I submitted because I live right next door to him. Going to be the exact same. So I'll go back and get the emails and resubmit them, and I'll go into. But I would ask that since I waited 3 months during the heat of the summer, that we do make a decision once that's submitted.
And Bobby's going to reach out to you, Steve, directly. So I know that yours was the one where I was trying to get it as a fast tracked item because I know that those same exact shades are on there. There just was a stumble with the board, but let Bobby get back to you on that and we'll see where we can get with that. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Okay, I was starting on Buildium. The last time I talked to Carlos, we had about 40 owners who hadn't signed up yet, and he's actually making phone calls because this is going to be our primary means of communication, of project tracking, of requests, of invoicing, of payments. The association is moving away from the singular emails, and it's important, when we have 3 staff who all have individual information on their laptops. There's really a break in data integrity, and we now have automation. And so if you haven't done so, you'll be getting a phone call for Buildium. The next thing we're going to ask people to do is put in their mailing addresses. We have your condo address. That's easy. We need your mailing address. If you're full-time here, then that's your condo address. If you're divide your time, we need your home address because the annual owners meeting information and election information that gets mailed. So we have to make sure we have everybody's address. And I know that some of our staff have conflicting addresses. So we're going to be asking owners to put their mailing address in Buildium and just keep building out the system. So please keep watching for those requests for action from us to get that software up and running. I wish we had...
Stacy, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I've probably gotten a half a dozen reminders to to set my password and set up Buildium. And I've been set up for a while, and I get 4 damn emails every time there's an announcement made because I have 4 units. So
Yeah.
I'm not clear why I keep getting those requests.
I have 2 units. You can turn off your notifications for all but one if you want.
But I mean, is he sending the notice out to everyone or just those that haven't signed up?
That Carlos was going to look into your specific issues, Scott, because we elected you and you are active on all of your units. The invitation should only go out to people who are not. We don't know why that's happening. So Carlos was going to call Buildium on that. I just don't know if he's had a chance.
Okay.
Last Friday that he and I talked about it. So
I just wondered if the 40 was an accurate number or if we were just, you know, like I said, I keep getting them and I keep logging in and saying, well, I know I'm signed up. So anyway, we don't need to belabor
sideways right now.
Same issue.
You're on the same issue? Okay. Okay.
Every week I get a reminder, for 2 of them.
To sign up for Buildium and you already have.
Yeah.
Would you email Carlos that? We'll talk to Buildium, and I wish we had our own IT department who could have magically set this up in a couple of days and had us up and running. But we're feeling our way through. Carlos is our resident expert and he's doing a great job, and anything that looks like it's not working as it's supposed to, please bring to his attention and we'll solve that for you.
And Stacy, maybe there's an opposite issue as well. And that is for me, early on, I didn't get any information from Buildium because my security settings on my computer wouldn't let the email through. I worked with Carlos. We got it figured out. You have to add it to safe senders. So if those, 40 people, haven't gotten emails, that could be an issue. And they need to adjust their security to allow Buildium to come through.
Yep.
I'm looking at my account. I don't see a place to put a second address.
There's a place.
It's
And
as
these two
well.
have both been looking and they don't.
Now I have on my side, on our side, I
Manager
do
side.
have your address. But it doesn't, I looked as well. I don't see.
Buildium's all that easy to use, personally.
It's easier than the other ones. Trust us.
What?
We talked to 3 companies.
This was the most user friendly of all of the ones that we talked to.
For the homeowners?
For the homeowners, yes, it was the most user friendly.
Well, we'll say when we ask you to do your address, it's just like when Carlos sent out the directions for how to file a rules and regs violation. He'll send out a direction on how to enter your address.
So-
we won't just ask you to do it. We'll tell you how to do it.
So it looks to me like I couldn't find a place to enter it. It looks to me like you have to contact Elisa and she has to put it on the manager side.
Okay.
Or Carlos. Carlos can.
Or
do it.
Carlos.
Yeah, they don't mail them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Carlos.
I always think of
Okay.
you. So it has to be done from the manager.
So maybe it's an
profile,
upload.
Not the owner profile.
Maybe it's an upload then.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll figure it out. Anything else? All right, then, unfinished business. New business. Good. We are going to, Brian.
One thing I've noticed in the lodge is we've got a lot of lights that stay on all day long and even on the back deck over here, those lights are out all day long. I was wondering if we can get those things that.
The
lights-
sensors.
Motion sensors.
Or the ones that tell light sensors,
So let's.
because that's a lot of electricity.
Photo cells, we're in the process of replacing them property wide. So, yeah.
Being addressed.
In process.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Do we need a break before we go into executive session?
Joe and I probably have to. Yeah.
Okay, quick break, then we're gonna go into executive session.
Might get there soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stacy, what do you plan to do after executive sessions? I mean, do you want me to stop the recording?
We will
now?
come back to the regular meeting because we'll be taking a vote after executive session.
Okay.
What are we doing? Oh.
I know.
Stacy can't hear you.
Stacy, the crowd can't hear the room. Can you hear us?
Lisa's computer.
Scott,
There you go.
joined the waiting room.
Can you hear us now?
Yep, it's better now.
Okay, Gary fixed it.
Okay, Scott's in the waiting room. There he is. Okay, thanks, everybody. We have a couple of matters to vote on. One is the approval of an HR manual, Mark.
Yes, and I'll move that we approve the final draft of the HR manual as reviewed by the board.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Okay, thank you. Cheryl?
I move forward on the lien delinquency, on meeting the new delinquency on the unit that we discussed in executive
You have to
section.
name the unit. or do-
No, we
No,
can't name the
no,
unit,
No.
but the one that's a new
The
lien.
lien,
Lien.
the new
Okay.
lien for the deficiency.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed.
And my final is to move forward on further legal action on the unit that has already been liened and has not stayed current with payments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Okay. This concludes our meeting. I move that we adjourn.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Lunch.
We did it at noon.
That's
All
how.
right.
All
Well
right.
played. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, guys.